Here's part 2 of the Palestine flag bracelet, where we're going to do the flag facing the opposite direction. We're going to start off by taking a green string. I'm going to choose the longest one I have so that it can last for longer. And I'm going to do a backward forward knot on top of all these strings. Now I've separated my strings into 2 parts, 8 reds and the green on one side and everything else on the other. With my green that I have just tied a knot with, I'm going to go over all the reds except for one. Okay, so I'm tying my green on top of 7 strings in a backward forward knot. Then I'm removing a second red string and I'm doing again a backward forward knot. And I'm continuing this pattern of removing a string and doing a backward forward knot all the way until I reach the last 2. Now I'm going to take a green string from my other side and I'll start off with a backward forward knot on top of all these strings that I have to the left. And now I'm going to do forward knots across all the red strings that I've just tied the green on. So 6 forward knots. Here's my first forward knot. And here's the second one to show you how it is done again. Here's the last 6th forward knot as well. Now we're going to do our last strip of green, and I'm just doing a forward knot across all my strings to the left, and then again I'm going to do forward knots across the red, and this time I'm only doing 5 forward knots. And here are all the 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but now with a white string. So we'll do a backward forward knot on top of all my left strings. And now I'm going to do 4 forward knots across the red strings. Now we're going to do the same thing with another white string. This time only doing 3 forward knots after our backward forward. Now we're going to start doing our red part of our bracelet. So I'm just taking the red that is right next to the last white that I've tied. So it's right to the right of my white string. And I'm doing a backwards knot on top of that white string. Now we'll continue doing the last white strip. So I'm just doing a backward forward knot on top of all my left strings, and then I'm going to do 4 forward knots. Now I'm doing the second row of reds. So this time I'm taking the red string that's right next to my white. So to the right of my white string, and I'm doing 3 backward knots across all the white strings. Now we're going to start with the black strings. So again, I'm going to do a backward forward knot on top of all the remaining strings to the left. And then I'm going to do 5 forward knots across all the red strings. And now we go back to the red again. So now I'm taking the red that's next to the green, and I'm doing 5 backward knots. Now I'm doing the second last black string. So again, a backward forward on top of the remaining 2 strings on the left. And then this time I'm doing 6 forward knots across the red. And I'm also doing my second last red string. Now the string that you're going to take is any of the last 2 remaining red strings, as they're coming out of the same place, so it doesn't matter which one you take. And you're going to do 7 backward knots. And now we come to the end of our bracelet, where we start ending off our diamond. And to do that, I'm first just going to do a backward knot between the black and the last remaining red on the left. And then I'm going to take one more string, the adjacent one, and I'm going to do a forward backward knot on top of both of the strings. So here's my forward and my backward. Then I'm going to combine the next one as well, and I'm going to do a forward backward on all 3 this time. And I'm going to continue with this pattern of combining one more and tying a forward backward all the way until I reach the end. Now as you do this, you may notice a gap start to form between your strings, and that's okay. All you do at the end is just pull on the separate strings at the end one by one, and that will tighten the gap and get rid of any of those strings that are kind of peeking out. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to end off the diamond with the red. So I'm doing a forward knot on the green that's right next to it. And then I'm going to combine one more string, the next one in line, and I'll do a backward forward knot on this side. Then I'll combine the next one and do another backward forward knot, and so on and so forth. So I'm continuing to combine and do backward forward knots all the way until I reach the last string. And at that point, again, I'm going to adjust my bracelet by tugging on each of the strings separately so that the gap is closed. We're almost done now. All I'm going to do is take my red string that's coming out from the right, and I'm going to do a backward forward knot across all my strings to end off the diamond. Now you can continue on with the pattern of the 2 different facing flags, and you can complete as many diamonds as you need for your desired length.